Hello, welcome or welcome back to my channel. My name is Taylor. If you haven't seen my face before, welcome back. Girl, boy, dog, cow, however you identify, I don't care. You read the title, so I'm gonna just go ahead and hop into the video. I do have my little wine glass here that I'm about to fill up with some water. So go ahead and get y'all some, a little beverage, okay, a little paper, a little pencil, whatever you like, and a wine glass if you want, because we're bougie queens. So let's get into this video. The first tip that I have is the way you feel you should be treated is the way others will treat you. So when I was in high school, I noticed people didn't really treat me too well. I have a lot of experiences where, like, I don't know, people would tell me that I looked a certain way. Like, I remember one guy told me, well, I got my hair cut in high school, and one guy told me I looked like the skunk from Over the Hedge one time, child, because of my haircut, and it really hurt my feelings. But I realized that the reason that I was treated that way and the reason that people used to, tell me stuff like that and make fun of me in high school was because A, I would never say nothing back to them. I would never stand up for myself to them, and two is because I actually felt like I wasn't pretty and like I wasn't worthy enough to like be stood up for, so I just didn't do it. Also, I didn't like confrontation, but now I notice that when people try to say certain things about me, when they try to, because they don't really anymore because of how I view myself, when they do try to say stuff about me, I'll say, hey, don't say that, or hey, I don't like that, or I'll be like, hey, that hurt my feelings, or yada yada yada. Basically, I'll just say what I feel like I need to say. Number two would be, just because society says you should do something doesn't mean you have to do it. Everybody that know me already know what I'm about to say. Wearing a bra. I don't do it, okay? I don't do it. Everybody be like, oh, well, you should do this, and you should wear it in front of my husband, or you should wear this in front of this. You should. My thing is, if I have to dress a certain way in front of somebody, then that person probably shouldn't be coming to your house. I'm sorry. You should be able to trust somebody enough to know that they're not going to look at whoever a certain way. That's just how I feel, number one. My thing is, I'm not about to do it. I don't like to do it. I wear it when I have to, like, of course, when I go to work or whatever the case may be. But y'all, when I just be going around the town, especially if I have a shirt where I'm not required to wear a bra, I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to do it just because society says that I have to do it. Like, no. Sorry. That's not my problem. I'm sorry. It's just not. So, tip number 3, self-care is the best way to heal. So I noticed when I started to take care of myself more. Today I'm in my little robe. I don't have my makeup on. I'm sipping on my water in this little wine glass, or whatever the case may be. Doing things just because I feel good. Like things that make me feel good. Fresh face, being in my robe, being free, just doing whatever. Watching a show with myself, just really taking care of myself. Watching the things that I eat. Watching how I eat, which I kind of fell off a little bit recently, but I'm getting back on it. Meditation, yoga, stuff like that. It has been probably some of the best ways that I've healed myself, been able to heal from things in the past that I've went through, from heartbreaks, from pain, from whatever. I notice when I just take the time and the energy that I've been putting into other people and I actually put that into myself, it helps me 10 times more. It helps me to heal. Don't mind the sniffling if you hear all that. That's my little sister over there. She got, I don't know what she got. Tip number 4 is love doesn't have to be purely romantic. I feel like a lot of us, when we hear love, the first thing we think about is like romantic love. First of all, there's a difference between love and romance, and I'm learning that now, so I'm not going to give y'all too much on that. And I've been kind of learning the difference between the two. And I feel like people don't really give love a lot of credit, because love doesn't have to be romance. It could be the love that you get from your family or your parents or your cousins, your siblings, whatever, or God, or whoever you feel loved by. First of all, if you don't feel loved, just know that you are. And somebody out here loves you. It could be an animal. It could be God. It could be, whoever. Somebody out here loves you. That's something that sometimes I forget. And also, I love you can be said in many different ways. It doesn't have to be I love you. It could be, did you eat today? It could be, how you feeling, like stuff like that. It doesn't have to be I love you. So also know that as well. But it's not purely romantic. You can have love from a best friend. That's love. So we definitely need to give love more credit. Like, let's say you are healing from a heartbreak. If you sit back and you look at love that way, and all the love that you already have in your life, you're gonna be good. Like, you know what I mean? Just because you don't have that one type of love, you have all this other type of love in your life, and that's something to be grateful for. I truly feel. Number 5. Oh, this tip, y'all, I be preaching about this so much because I learned a lesson. Okay. Number 5 is to learn to love yourself first before trying to learn to love someone else. First of all, this is my thing. This is one of the biggest reasons why I say this, is because you are who you attract. If you're someone who doesn't love yourself, first of all, you're going to have a void in your heart, because that's something that needs to be filled. Like, that void comes from yourself. It doesn't come from any external sources, not even anybody. Like, even if you have all this platonic love around you and you have no love for yourself, you're still not going to feel loved. That's the truth, because it's like you got to fill that void with the love from yourself. Okay, number 1. But number 2, you're going to attract somebody. If you don't love yourself first, you're going to attract somebody that's doing the same thing that you're doing and has the same void in their heart that you do. And it's like, they're not, if they don't have self-compassion, what makes you think they're going to have compassion for you? If they don't have love for themselves, what makes you think that they're going to be able to love you 100%? I'm just saying. And I feel like it's better to know yourself first before you try to get to know somebody else. The thing is, I feel like we're all very similar, and like the mind kind of works in a similar way. Not to say that we're all the same, but we are all connected and we are all very similar. So I feel like you not knowing yourself, you don't really know anybody else. Does that make sense? Because it's like, I feel like once I started to really learn who I was as a person, like, I kind of understood why people were the way that they were, and it was easier for me to forgive other people, because it was like, okay, well, I know how I was thinking back when, you know, I had this going on, whatever the case may be, or I know how I usually think when something like, you know what I'm saying? So it's easier for you to know somebody else when you know yourself. Like, it's just easier. I can't even explain that 100%, and maybe there's some things that I'm leaving out or things that I don't know yet. Tip number 6, our generation is so bad with this, but communication will save you a lot of time and bring you more peace. I think I said this in one of my last Girl Talks, and I was like, if people would just communicate and say what they mean, and if, you know, like if something hurts your feelings, like say that. Like, people things may not be what they seem, but you're not going to know that because you're not communicating. If you feel some type of way about something, it's like, say that. Well, that kind of hurt my feelings. Oh, my bad. I didn't mean for it to come off that way. Or, that kind of hurt my feelings. I want to know why you said it like this. Did you mean to say it like this? Is that what you meant? Like, if people would just A, ask more questions, and B, just communicate with each other, there would be less misunderstandings. But I feel like too, that's not something that we should really beat ourselves up about, because a lot of people aren't really taught to communicate or ask why or do things like that. Like, even in school, we're taught to just go with what people say and just, you know, keep it pushing. But I feel like that's a good way to create problems, is to just go off what somebody says the first time without asking any questions or without communicating your feelings to that person. It's like, it just makes things harder. Tip number 7 is to do things because you want to, not because you have to. Like I said in my last video, which I'm definitely gonna link, but dude, you don't have to do anything. There's not anything in this world that you are forced to do. If you want to go commit a crime, you can go commit a crime. You can do whatever you want to do in this life. But there are basically, the law of karma is basically whatever action, there's a reaction. So whatever you do is going to cause something else to happen. That's just how it works. Don't do things because you feel like you have to do it. Like, if you feel like you have to work, like, I understand that there are bills that you have to pay and woo, but it's better if you don't look at it as something that you have to do. It's kind of a choice that you're making. Everything is a choice. We all have choices. Sometimes you have to make choices that are more challenging than others, and that's the truth. Not that you don't have to do anything. Okay. Not me drinking with my pinky up. Tip number 8 is that beauty comes from within. Oh my God. Listen, first of all, I noticed once I changed my inside, my outside started to change. I'm going to put a picture up of me, how I used to look. This is how I am now. People literally say I look completely different. And the thing was, I feel like my mind back then was completely different. And my mind right now is going to be completely different in the next 20 years or the next 10 years or whatever the case may be. Beauty really comes from within. I noticed once I started to go within, learn myself a little more, care for myself a little more, and love myself a little more, I started to take care of my body more, because I saw the importance of taking care of my body, which it is something very important if you're, you know, going on this journey of loving yourself in the first place. It's like it's gonna come out. Like you gotta have to, I mean, you don't have to, like I said, you don't have to take care of your body, but it's something that I feel like a lot of people will start to want to do. I feel like when you do clean up your body and, like, you know, clean up, I'm talking about spiritually, like cleaning up your body, your mind, going within, really knowing yourself, really learning yourself, there's this like glow that comes, you know what I mean? Because you start to do things that you want to do. I feel like this whole journey of loving yourself brings you on a path of more happiness and healing. And that is something that comes from the inside. There's nothing that you can do on the outside if you're not doing what you have to do on the inside. And that's the truth. That's how come you could have somebody, they could be beautiful on the outside, but in the inside, they're completely ugly. And then that person starts to turn ugly because how they are in the inside. Beauty comes 100% from the inside outward. Okay. And also being a nice person, like just being a good person, you know what I mean? And trying your best to be a good, because we're gonna make mistakes, but trying your best to be the best you that you can be on the inside, baby, I'm telling you, the beauty is gonna come. The beauty comes, okay? It comes from within, but you gotta try. You gotta do that work, okay? You gotta get that work. Tip number 9 is rejection is divine protection. That is so true. So I'm not gonna even, just know there are certain things that happen. There's a song, it goes, if it's not how you want it, it's just how I need it. If it's not how I want it, it's by No Name. I'm gonna put it on the screen. Just know that just because something happens and like, you know, you felt like you wanted it at the time and it didn't come, it probably didn't come because it wasn't meant for you, or B, you were being protected from that certain thing because at the time it wasn't ready for, or, you know, you weren't ready for it, or it wasn't ready for you, or it just wasn't the time. And the thing is, I've learned that when things happen like that, and it's like you end up finding out later, oh, this is why I couldn't have this, oh, this is why it wasn't the time, or, you know, it could be something where it's just like it'll be much sweeter at the end if you get it at the end. That's why, you know, I feel like, you know, you hear those stories about certain famous people who, you know, had to go through homelessness or had to live in their car, but they was working hard. And you may have, you know, hard times, bumps in the road, but it's like when you get to the end, you're gonna understand why you had to go through the things that you had to go through. Like my past relationship, I'm so grateful that I had to go through that, because I feel like if I didn't go through it, I wouldn't be on this journey, or I wouldn't in this way, or I wouldn't have became the person who I become now. I wouldn't be the person, I wouldn't be striving to become the person that I'm trying to become either. Everything happens for a reason. Rejection is divine protection. Thank you. Some of y'all may not have understood that, but some of y'all may. So tip number 10 is, the more you connect with yourself and God, the more fulfilling life becomes, okay? And then in parentheses, I wrote, God is the path to happiness. I felt like the more that I had connected with myself, my inner child, just all parts of myself, my inner teenager, which I'm still trying to connect with at this time, like, you know, just my inner anything, I led myself down a path of fulfillment. I'm learning more about myself and what I like and what I think is fulfilling and what my morals are and my views are, which kind of brings me into the next tip here. In a little bit we'll talk about that, but that's just one of those things that you kind of have to experience, because there's no explaining it. Like, I can't explain to you too much what I mean if you haven't gone on that journey or on that path. Just being authentic with yourself, you know what I'm saying? The more authentic you are with yourself, the more you connect with yourself, it's like the more fulfilling you're gonna be, because you're gonna live in your divine truth, and nobody can tell you nothing. Nobody won't be able to tell you that you should do this or you should do that, or this is what you're supposed to be doing. It's like, no, you living in your authentic truth and being who you are as a person. I'm telling you, it's just gonna be more fulfilling for you. I can't even explain it. I didn't know what authenticity was until just as of recent. I truly can't even explain that. The next tip, I had 10 tips, but I'm gonna go ahead and add a bonus tip for y'all, because I was just thinking about this. This is something that I feel like we all could benefit from. This is just my views. You don't have to agree with it, but I agree with it. Just because someone doesn't share the same views, morals, etc. than you, doesn't make their views or their morals or your views and your morals wrong. I feel like, God lives within all of us. That's just my views. And I feel like we were made to be different. We were made to believe different things. So just because I believe a certain way and you may not believe a certain way, that doesn't mean that it's wrong. You could change my mind. That's the truth. I feel like just being more open-minded with each other, kind of agreeing to disagree, and not trying to change each other's minds, but just kind of healthily and calmly explaining, what our views are. I feel like that would kind of make the world a more peaceful place. If people just, we don't have to believe the same thing, but we can accept that we don't believe the same thing, and I'm not going to try to change your mind and you're not going to try to change my mind, because that doesn't really happen. People be trying to change other people's minds. That's not really how things work. I've noticed you can't really force somebody to believe what you believe or have the same values as you or have the same morals as you. You can't force that. It's something that people have to do on their own. And if they don't believe it or have the same morals, you can't force them. That's kind of the challenge that I see a lot of us are going through. It's control. It is an aspect of control. We all have it. Literally everybody that I have talked to has some type of aspect of control. That's the video. That's the advice that I would give to my younger self. I hope that y'all enjoyed the video. If you did enjoy the video, go ahead and give this video a big thumbs up so I can know that you liked it. And if you didn't like it, go ahead and give the video a big thumbs down so I know that you didn't like it. I mean, that ain't gonna change my content, but go ahead, do it. If it makes you feel better, go ahead and do it. Go ahead and give me a comment below. Let me know one piece of advice that you would give to your younger self if you could. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel, and upon subscribing, y'all know y'all gotta hit that notification bell and click all notifications. Okay, you want to be notified on all notifications, because like I said, YouTube be changing stuff and updating stuff, and that's on them. Hey. Like I said, look, we can't change nobody's mind. I will see y'all in the next video. Happy Sunday. Bye.
Accept yourself. Love yourself. Accept yourself.